kind of a heavy hood, isn't it?
Yeah, well, fiberglass was supposed to be lightweight, but
There was an outfit in Topeka, Kansas that somehow ended up with this car. And my dad traded 3 cars for it.
Fans of chasing classic cars thought they knew Wayne Carini well, but shocking revelations told a different story. Lawsuits, missing episodes, and hidden drama began to surface, leaving many to question what truly happened behind the cameras. Why did the beloved series disappear so suddenly? And what was going on in Carini's life off-screen? The reality proved far stranger and more complex than viewers ever expected. The rise of Wayne Carini. Wayne Carini's story begins in his childhood, where he was surrounded by the sound of engines and the smell of grease. His father, a skilled auto restorer, introduced him to the world of classic cars. Wayne was not just fascinated by how cars worked, but also by the history behind them. He saw each vehicle as a piece of living art. By the time most kids were still riding bicycles, Wayne was already helping in restoration shops, polishing chrome, and learning how to bring old engines back to life. That early exposure shaped the course of his life and built the foundation for his reputation among collectors and enthusiasts. As Wayne grew older, his skills deepened, and so did his passion. He became known in the car community for his ability to recognize the hidden potential of forgotten vehicles. Word spread that Wayne could take a dusty, neglected machine and return it to its original beauty. His reputation grew beyond local circles, eventually catching the eye of television producers who wanted to bring the magic of restorations to a wider audience. The turning point came when Wayne became the host of Chasing Classic Cars. Premiering in 2008, the show introduced millions to his world. Week after week, audiences watched as Wayne searched for rare and valuable cars, often hidden away in barns or garages for decades. These barn finds became the show's signature, and viewers loved the sense of discovery. They weren't just watching a car being polished, they were witnessing history being brought back to life. Whether it was a rare Pierce Arrow coupe or a long-forgotten Ferrari, Wayne treated each project with the same respect and care, showing viewers why these machines mattered. The show's appeal was not only about the cars, but also about Wayne himself. His enthusiasm was genuine, and his knowledge gave the series authenticity. Fans admired the way he could explain complex restorations in simple terms, making even those who were not car experts feel connected. Chasing Classic Cars became one of the most beloved automotive shows on television, running for many successful seasons and creating a loyal fan base worldwide. But behind the glitter of auctions and the thrill of discoveries, there were struggles. Some of Wayne's biggest deals never made it to the screen. In the background, there were financial losses, risks, and the constant pressure of running businesses alongside television fame. By the mid-2010s, those unseen costs, both financial and personal, began to weigh heavily. The world saw the success, but few knew about the challenges hidden beneath. Yet just as Wayne Carini seemed to have it all, a storm was brewing. A lawsuit over a 1934 Pierce Arrow would soon test not only his career, but also his credibility in the world of classic cars. The Pierce Arrow lawsuit and legal storms. The Pierce Arrow case began with what seemed like a straightforward deal, but soon turned into one of the biggest controversies in Wayne Carini's career. In 2010, an Australian antique car collector named Robert Richmond came across a 1934 Pierce Arrow coupe during a trip to the United States. Unable to stay long enough to complete the purchase, he trusted a fellow restorer, Gary Dixo, to handle the transaction on his behalf. Richmond made a hefty down payment of about $98,000, fully believing the car would be shipped to him in Australia. That trust proved costly. Weeks stretched into months, and eventually years. But the Pierce Arrow never reached Richmond. Instead, filed for bankruptcy in 2016 and later sold the car without Richmond's knowledge. The vehicle passed through Gullwing Motors, a company specializing in vintage cars, and eventually landed in Wayne Carini's possession. Wayne had been brought in initially to appraise the coupe, estimating its value between $100,000 and $120,000. When he realized the car was available, he purchased it for $110,000, confident that the paperwork, including the ownership certificate, was in order. At first, the deal seemed legitimate, and Wayne moved forward. He even set an asking price of $250,000 when approached by RM Auctions, believing the car would gain value over time. To his surprise, the auction house agreed to pay the price almost immediately and later resold the coupe for $275,000. Richmond, however, was still waiting for the car he had paid for years earlier. His discovery that the Pierce Arrow had been sold multiple times without his consent set off a legal battle that pulled in everyone involved, including Wayne's companies, Gullwing Motors, and RM Auctions. The case dragged on for 2 years. In June 2020, the court ruled in Richmond's favor. It concluded that Dixo had acted in bad faith and committed embezzlement by selling the car entrusted to him. While Wayne Carini and the other parties were cleared of fraud, they were still required to reimburse restoration costs and refunds related to the resale. The ruling protected Wayne from criminal charges, but not from the damage to his public image. For collectors and fans, the headlines told a different story. Although Wayne insisted he had acted in good faith, suspicion spread quickly. Some believed he must have known about the shady circumstances. Others accused him of inflating valuations and benefiting from the confusion. Even though the court cleared him, the whispers refused to die down. While Wayne struggled with the fallout from this lawsuit, his longtime friend and partner Roger Barr faced a battle of his own. His sudden disappearance from chasing classic cars left fans asking the same haunting question: what really happened to Roger? Roger Barr, silent exit. Roger Barr's departure from chasing classic cars remains one of the show's most quietly dramatic chapters, a story of talent, turmoil, and unanswered questions. Roger was more than just a mechanic. He was a fixture of the show, a presence fans came to love. Behind the cameras, he combined deep mechanical expertise with a warmth that made every scene feel personal. Viewers didn't just watch him work on classic cars, they felt a connection to him, a sense of trust and authenticity rarely captured on reality TV. His laughter, his attention to detail, and his subtle guidance became a thread that held the show's behind-the-scenes world together. In August 2017, that stability was shattered. While working at Carini Carrozzeria, Roger developed a severe leg infection. It required hospitalization and intensive treatment. Over time, these health struggles compounded. Recurring leg infections and a knee surgery made it impossible for him to maintain the rigorous pace the show demanded. Fans who had seen him as indefatigable now watched him quietly fade from active participation, a stark reminder of how even the strongest personalities can be vulnerable. His professional presence was reduced, but his reputation and fan loyalty remained strong. The story took an even more unsettling turn with Roger's public claims regarding compensation. He insisted that despite his years of service, he was never properly paid for appearing on the show. The revelations shocked fans, who quickly mobilized support, including a GoFundMe campaign to help cover his mounting medical bills. Roger's attempts to return to work were met with silence, and he was ultimately involuntarily terminated via mail, a method that struck many as cold and impersonal. Questions about respect, fairness and transparency began to swirl. Even today, the full truth behind his exit remains clouded. Wayne Carini and the production team have never provided a complete public explanation. Officially, Rogers' departure was linked to age and health concerns. Yet fans and insiders speculate about deeper issues: disputes over contracts, compensation disagreements, and possibly creative conflicts behind the scenes. Rogers' unhunter's silence and the way the exit was handled left an uneasy gap in the story, a void that sparked more curiosity than closure. With Roger gone, the show faced a turning point. His absence was more than a missing mechanic. It was the disappearance of a trusted, familiar presence. Fans wondered how chasing classic cars could survive the loss, especially amid whispers of lawsuits and public disputes. Could the show maintain its charm without one of its heartbeats? Let's tell you how the series entered a new era, one marked by behind-the-scenes tensions that the cameras would never reveal, and then eventually ended. The end of the show. The final chapter of Chasing Classic Cars unfolded quietly, almost unnoticeably to the casual viewer. Season 17, which aired in late 2021, marked the last time fans were treated to new restorations, auctions, and the familiar charm of Wayne Carini navigating the classic car world. Since then, the show has slipped into an eerie silence. No new episodes have appeared, promotional activity has dwindled, and public visibility for the series has sharply dropped. Loyal viewers have been left to wonder if the engines had simply stopped, or if something deeper was at play. Multiple factors appear to have contributed to the show's disappearance. Rising production costs loomed large. Filming and restoring rare vehicles, traveling for auctions, managing crew, and maintaining the intricate logistics of classic car acquisition created a budget pressure that was difficult to sustain. At the same time, the television landscape was shifting. Cable reality shows were losing ground to streaming platforms, altering both audience reach and revenue streams. Legal distractions, including high-profile cases like the Pierce Arrow lawsuit, added stress and uncertainty. On top of that, viewer fatigue may have been a factor, as networks increasingly prioritize content that promises wider reach and faster returns. Publicly, Wayne Carini has maintained an almost deliberate silence. Unlike other shows that issue formal farewells or network apologies, Chasing Classic Cars offered no such closure. Social media and automotive forums became the only venues for speculation, as fans pieced together fragments of information, trying to make sense of the quiet exit. Insiders suggest that the story behind the scenes may be more complex than declining ratings or rising costs. Legal liabilities surrounding Wayne's businesses may have made continuing the show a risky endeavor, potentially threatening the brand he had built over decades. At the same time, Wayne's focus may have intentionally shifted toward other projects. His restoration shops, magazine ventures, and charitable initiatives all offered ways to channel his passion without the constraints of weekly television production. Ultimately, the end of Chasing Classic Cars was less a dramatic finale and more a subtle pivot. Away from cameras, Wayne's personal priorities, family, advocacy, and legacy, may have quietly guided the show's closure. Fans are left to wonder what truly drove the decision. Was it necessity, opportunity, or a mix of both? And as the spotlight fades, the real story of Wayne Carini's life behind the scenes begins to emerge, hinting at motivations, choices, and passions that the camera never captured. A man fighting for more than cars. Wayne Carini's story is about far more than cars. Behind the classic car auctions, restorations, and TV cameras, he is a father, husband, and advocate whose personal life has profoundly shaped his priorities. Married to Lori since 1980, Wayne built a family-centered life, raising 2 daughters. His younger daughter, Kimberly, was diagnosed with autism at a young age, a reality that changed not just his personal outlook, but also the focus of his public life. For Wayne, family came first, and this perspective has influenced many of the choices he made in business, media, and public engagements. Wayne's advocacy and charitable efforts reflect this deeper purpose. He has used his platform to raise awareness for autism, supporting organizations like the Special Olympics and hosting car shows to benefit various causes. For him, these efforts are inseparable from his passion for automobiles. He often emphasizes that his work cannot be turned off. The thrill of restoring a car is intertwined with helping people, raising awareness, and making a difference. Fans have witnessed not just a skilled mechanic, but a man committed to a cause larger than himself, someone who sees cars as a medium for impact, not just a business. Yet, life in the public eye brought challenges. Controversies surrounding contracts, legal disputes, and declining show visibility required delicate navigation. Wayne's choice to remain quiet on certain matters, avoid public debates, and step back from some media confrontations may not have been about avoidance, but about protection. Protecting his family, preserving his reputation, and mitigating risk became as important as any business decision. Over time, his non-automotive endeavors, charity, advocacy, and family-focused initiatives began to take a more central role, suggesting a shift in priorities following the decline of chasing classic cars. Still, goodwill and good intentions cannot shield a man from financial realities. Even as Wayne dedicated himself to advocacy and family, mounting legal challenges, business obligations, and the costs associated with maintaining his brand and operations presented serious pressures. Questions linger about how his net worth, businesses, and legal exposure fared in the aftermath of the show's decline. Could passion and purpose truly outweigh the hard numbers and risks? Or did Wayne find a way to balance both worlds, ensuring that while cameras faded, his influence and legacy endured? The answers lie behind the headlines, in the careful management of both wealth and heart. How do you see Wayne Carini's next chapter unfolding? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.